Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. Wanted to jump in here and do a live tip Tuesday for you today. So let me get this shared over in my Mind Power Collective group, and then I'm going to jump right in. If you are joining live, please say hello in the comments. Let me know you're here. If you are watching the replay, let me know that as well. Um, This topic is something that actually came up yesterday in a client call. So I thought I would jump on in and talk a little bit about this because I think it's a question that a lot of people have when they are trying to work through mindset stuff. Um, so let's talk about this, right? So, I talk a lot about mindset. I talk about how important it is, how critical it is to anything that we do, to how we think, to what we create, what we believe to be true. And one of the questions I got yesterday on my client call was um, sort of related to the specifics. What is it that we need to know? How do we identify these limiting beliefs? Like, how do we know what we believe? How do we know when we have mindset stuff, for lack of a better word, that needs changing, transformation? How do we know? Like, what are the ways that we figure that out? And what do we do about it? And so this particular client was talking a bit about how she tries really hard to be positive and she kind of goes through the motions and finds that some things throw her off and just kind of gets confused about what she should be doing, when she should be doing it, how often, all the things. So I thought I'd jump in here. Hey, Lisa. Thought I would jump in here and talk a little bit about 3 ways that you can actually, these practices, these ideas will help you identify where the problem areas are, and then will help you really like dive into very specific beliefs that you have. And this is, I don't, as a coach, I'm not one of those people that says we have to go digging. But if there's an area of your life that's not quite working, then you want to understand why it's not working. Okay, so let's talk about the 3 ways, and I'm going to share with you not only the 3 ways, but what you need to do after you identify those beliefs. How do you transform? How do you change them? Okay, so the first way to really identify, what are your limiting beliefs? What are the things that are kind of roaming around in your mind that are holding you back? The first way is to really identify your relationship with whatever it is you're dealing with. So when I am working with a client, often they will come to me, and one of my first questions is basically, what made you reach out, right? Like, what's going on in your life? Where are you feeling challenged? What's happening right now that caused you to reach out? And they typically will have 1 or 2 areas of their lives that is a challenge, that they want to change, that they want to transform. And my first question is, help me understand your relationship to that thing. Help me understand, if you had to describe your relationship with money, how would you describe it? If you had to describe your relationship with relationships or love, how would you describe that, right? And the reason I ask about the relationship to it is because most people don't know what they think about it. Most people don't know how they, like, what they believe about those areas of their lives. And so when you ask about what's your relationship, like, what is your experience with this? What comes up? It's so much easier to understand, to put like words to what is unfolding in your life. So when I ask that question, typically I get words like, it's dysfunctional, it's a love-hate relationship, it is a bit of a roller coaster ride, so lots of ups and downs, right? So if you have an area of your life that you want to transform, start looking at what is your relationship to that thing, right? Do you find that your relationship is all or nothing? I hear that very often. I'm either really focused and I'm really good and really positive, or I'm completely on the other side, right? When I ask people about their relationship with money, which is one of my favorite topics, I often get responses like, it's dysfunctional. It's a little bit, untrustworthy. There's a lot of lack. And that's going to give you a really good indication of what are your thoughts related to this thing. Okay, now that question may not directly identify the specific belief that you have, but the next 2 are really going to help you understand that. So what's the relationship to that thing? And as we're walking through this, I would love to hear what area or areas of your life are you kind of going through these exercises or these questions with? Is it money? Is it health? Is it relationships? Is it work? What are you kind of looking at as we go through this? Feel free to post that in the comments below. The second way to really identify or to help you identify what your limiting beliefs are to become aware of repeated thoughts, things that you think constantly or things that you find yourself saying all the time, right? And you may not actually be aware of what you're saying all the time, but people who are around you will know. So if you're not aware of what you're thinking about this particular topic all the time, ask some people around you, like, what do you hear me say often about money? Or what do you hear me say quite often about health or love or whatever it is? Ask your friends, ask your family members. They don't have to know why you're asking, but just get curious about it, right? So what ends up happening with this is our thoughts and beliefs are repetitious, right? So what ends up happening is whether we realize it or not, we are playing and replaying the same thoughts over and over and over in our mind. So you are consistently, whether you realize it or not, thinking the same thoughts that are actually reinforcing those beliefs. So you may be thinking things, or you may have heard things growing up that said money doesn't grow on trees. There's never enough time, enough money, enough energy, right? I'm always tired. It seems like no matter how much sleep I get, I can't get ahead, or no matter how much hard work I do, I can't get ahead, right? A saying I hear often is, it's like, 2 steps forward and 5 steps back, like that kind of thing. So when you're thinking about this, remember that your thoughts are massive indicators of what you believe. And every time you think a thought, you're reinforcing a belief or you're changing a belief. So if you're reinforcing that there's never enough time, that there's never enough money, that no matter what you do, you can't get ahead, no matter how hard you work, you're always, in the same place. I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I hear this very often. No matter what I do, I'm stuck. This is how it's always going to be. These are, you might think of them as just thoughts, but they are actually beliefs. They are the beliefs that are holding you back from doing the thing that you want to do. So while words in and of themselves don't have power, when you repeat them over and over and over, and they are accompanied by an emotion or a feeling, they absolutely carry power. So when you're thinking, I don't have enough money, and you feel lack, and you feel depleted, and you feel frustrated, and you feel stressed, and you repeat that, and every time you do that, you have that feeling, you now are creating a belief that says, I never have enough. I never have enough time. I never have enough money. I never. Really good buzzwords to help you understand your beliefs are I never, I always, um, I can't, I won't, right? All of these buzzwords often accompany your beliefs. So start becoming aware, set an intention to just get curious. What are you thinking and feeling consistently? And if you tie this into that first question, that first tip, which is about identifying your relationship to the thing, it's really going to help you unlock some of those beliefs. So what are the sayings that you're saying? What are the things, the thoughts that are going through your mind consistently related to whatever topic you're wanting to change? And if you have some, I'd love for you to share them again. If you're on live or you're watching the replay, I'd love to hear what those are for you. What are the specific things that you hear often? What are the specific things that you say a lot? I used to say for a long time, like, oh, I just don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And it doesn't seem like it would be a belief, but it is, versus I'll figure it out. You see the difference? I don't know what to do means I don't know what to do. I don't have the answers. I'm lacking the answers. But when you say I'll figure it out, there is a different belief. There's a different energy related to that. So post your ideas, post your thoughts, post what are the beliefs that come up? What are the sayings that you're constantly saying, repeating, playing over and over in your mind? Okay. The third way that you can kind of identify, and this is sort of for those people who aren't quite sure, they're like, I don't know what the relationship is. I don't know where I need to kind of do mindset work. And I hear this a lot where people say, I don't know if I need any mindset work, or I don't know if that's even going to work, or how do I even know where I need to focus when it comes to mindset work. And this one is for those of you who maybe don't know where you need to kind of hone in on your beliefs. And it's really, really simple. It is simply to look at the areas of your life, to look at in real time what is unfolding in your life. If you like what you see, if it feels good, if you feel in alignment, if you like that aspect of your life, if it feels aligned, if it feels okay, keep doing what you're doing. But if there are areas of your life that feel incomplete, that feel stagnant, that feel stuck, that feel like they're not working, then you might want to look at some of those beliefs that you have. Because if you're not getting to the next place, or you're not moving forward, if you're not progressing in a certain area, if you're not sort of hitting the mark, whether it's a goal or an intention, then you really want to start looking at, well, what is it that might be holding me back? And very often it is a thought or a belief. So one of the things I say all the time is, if you don't think you need mindset work, great. But if there are areas of your life that you don't like, if your health is struggling and you don't like where you are, there's some beliefs that go along with that you can start changing. If your finances aren't where you want it to be, your career, your business, your relationships, right? What are you seeing unfold? And a lot of times people see repeating patterns. Again, perfect example of where there's some mindset stuff going on. For the person who has changing relationships, they're dating different people, but they end up in a very similar circumstance, there's a mindset thing happening. For people who go to different jobs and have very similar circumstances in that job, whether it's pay related or interpersonal issues or issues with managers, there's a mindset thing there. Because wherever you go, Abraham Hicks says this often, wherever you go, there you are. You are the common denominator. And it's not to say that you are a problem, but maybe some of the thoughts that you have are attracting and calling in some of these very specific experiences that tend to repeat history. Okay? So those are the 3 ways, strategies, tools you can use to identify what is holding you back. And they're part of what I do as a coach when I'm working with clients. We will go through some of those questions. But an added layer of the coaching work is being able to help you see things that you're not quite aware of. Because as human beings, we are so used to our own lives. We are so used to who we are, how we operate, that we're too close to see our own blind spots. That's why coaches need coaches, doctors need doctors. Like, we have a different way of seeing things when we are looking at our own lives versus a third party, right? So there's going to be some stuff that I see that maybe you don't see. Now, once you've identified those beliefs or those problem areas, what do? Right? It's one thing to identify and go, okay, yeah, I have some beliefs that around money that are not serving me. I have some beliefs around this, that, or the other that are no longer serving me. What do I do next? Here are a couple of things that you can do. First thing is, when you notice those stories and you know that they're not working for you, or you know that they're not serving you in the way that you want them to, then tell a different story. And if you listened to my live last week, I talked a lot about this story, how we all have stories, we all have narratives that are kind of running in our mind. And when we kind of slow down our thought enough to look at that story and to identify what's happening, then we are more empowered to tell a new story, to look at that evidence and go, hey, I don't really like the assumption that I'm making about this situation. So what's another way I could look at it? Or what's another story I could tell, right? And I use the word story because I think it opens up a bit more creativity. So instead of something feeling like we're always being abandoned, we're always feeling like people are leaving us, the new story might be, I am growing and evolving beyond these certain circumstances. And it doesn't mean I'm being abandoned. It just means I'm moving closer to what it is that is meant for me, right? Like, that's a way to kind of look at that. So in addition to telling these new stories, you want to practice that. Practice the new story. If your story about money is lack and not enough, or time is lack and not enough, what story do you want to tell? You want to start focusing on the story that says, I actually have all the time I need. I have plenty of time to do the things that I want. I have freedom. I have space, right? And so these are thoughts that when you practice them consistently, keyword consistently, they now become your belief. They will become reinforced by the evidence that happens around you. You'll start thinking these thoughts, you'll start practicing these beliefs, and then you will see evidence to go, oh yeah, I had plenty of time to do X, Y, and Z, or I had plenty of money. I don't even know how it happened. When I'm working with clients, often around money, I had a client session last week where we talked about this. It's a client I've worked with in the past. She said, one thing I noticed is that with just a little bit of focus on what I'm thinking and feeling, I notice that more money is coming. And I don't even know how. I didn't work extra hours, or it just kind of comes out of the blue. These are the things that are happening because when you shift how you think about something, you shift how you feel about something, and then you start seeing different evidence. Okay. So telling the new story, choosing the new story, the more empowered story, and then doing it consistently. And that consistency piece is so important. The consistency piece is about choosing your thoughts on a daily basis. And you know that I talk about this quite often. It's about doing it consistently, doing it in a way that kind of gets you into a habit. It's the daily practice I talk about. I have, my journal here. It's what we do. That's how we do it. It's just like working out your body. You want to do it on a consistent basis, right? So if you don't have a practice and you are interested in one and you kind of want something that you can start with, let me know in the comments. I have a 21-day journaling guidebook that I created with prompts that can sort of walk you through how to do that and get you started on that. So if you're interested in that, let me know and I'll post the link for that below. The other thing that you can do, of course, is work with someone. And this is sort of the expedited version of what you can do on your own. It's getting support, it's investing in yourself and being able to have someone that can come in, a professional that can come in and go, listen, here's what we're seeing, here are the beliefs, here are some practices, here are some things and tools and strategies to help you get to the next level, and someone that's going to hold you accountable to yourself, right? So that is really the benefit of hiring a coach if you're interested in that. But these are things that you can do and that you should be doing for yourself. If you want to change or transform any area of your life, you definitely want to look at the mindset aspect, because whether we realize it or not, we're thinking thoughts all day long. And those thoughts are either bringing us closer to what we want or keeping us further apart from it. And it's really important for us to pay attention to that and be mindful of, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? How are you moving forward? And if you don't like where you're at, or if you don't like where you're headed, it's time to do some inner work. And my inner work, my expertise is in the mindset arena. So those are just a couple of tips. I hope that they're helpful as always. If you have additional questions about any of the things that I listed, or you have a particular belief that you need help telling a new story about, or a situation that you're having a hard time telling a new story about, feel free to post it in the comments below or send me a message on Facebook and I'd be happy to help. If you're interested in that journaling guidebook, let me know and I will post that in the comments below as well. And of course, if you're interested in taking it to the next level, if you're interested in going to the next step to see what coaching can do for you specifically to sort of expedite things when it comes to mindset and the changes you want to make, then feel free to reach out. I can get you set up with a free consultation and we can talk a little bit and see if it's a good fit. So that is what I have for you today. I hope it's helpful. I'm trying to dive in here more frequently and do these Tip Tuesdays live to answer questions and to just let you know, what this is all about. If you have questions that you would like me to include in one of these live videos, feel free to send those questions my way as well. So that is it for now. If you have questions, I would love to, answer them for you. Feel free to post them in the messages below. Lisa says, I would like the journaling. Good. I will go ahead and get that posted as soon as I finish this. If you guys have questions or need anything, please feel free to reach out. I hope you guys are having a great Tuesday and I will chat with you soon. All right. Bye, guys.